Hi, hey, hello. If you're new here, my name is Rain. If you're not new here, welcome back. I really appreciate you stopping by. Today, I'm sketching some fan art. I was kind of in a rut at the time. I wasn't really feeling drawing that day, but I wanted to, and so, as per usual for me, when I'm not feeling super motivated, I do a little fan art sketch to try and get me going, to feel more in the mood for art. So, while I'm doing that, I would love to know what you guys get up to whilst I'm drawing, illustrating, doing my line art and all of that. You can tag me on social media if you do anything artistic, or comment down below. I always do love to know and see the work that's created whilst I'm creating alongside you. So if there's any interest in sharing that information with me, I'd really appreciate it. Before we get into the actual discussion topic, I would really appreciate it if you can watch until the end and leave your comments throughout on the video, whether it be about my discussion topic that I've chosen for today, or just the art piece in general. I know it's a little bit of a funky pose this week. But my actual topic that I want to discuss is kind of a discussion more so on fan art and this kind of weird situation. I've noticed it a little bit with the people I follow, but I've also kind of had some bit of a situation with it myself as an artist. So let's get into it. I wasn't really thinking about this topic much until a week or two ago. An artist I really like was posting about how they were losing lots of followers per week because they stopped drawing fan art of a particular series that they're no longer interested in. And I was kind of thinking about how I was fortunate enough to be a private account when I was posting a lot of the fan art that I grew out of, and how of the fan art that a lot of my following came from, I do still create that fan art. And then I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I was like, am I really fortunate that I'm creating fan art for a fandom, and that's why that part of my audience stays? And I was kind of thinking about how I did kind of build a chunk of my fan base off of a huge fan art kick I had throughout a lot of 2021, when I was really starting to want to hone in my own art style. Because when I was thinking, how am I going to do this, it wasn't necessarily wholly a deliberate process. I wasn't necessarily going into it thinking, I have to develop an art style. However, I was really thinking, I do want an art style, and I really want my work to start standing out a little bit more as me, and not necessarily as somebody who was just trying to figure out exclusively the basics. A lot of my art prior to 2021 was studies and me trying to teach myself the basics of art, which I think there's going to be an entire video explaining my weird journey through learning art, because that kind of ended up being a wild and unconventional ride. Stick around if you want that. But more importantly, I did a lot of studies, and I was trying to teach myself how to draw for a really long time. And when I really figured out that characters is just what I love to draw, I kind of went fan art first. I did have a big chunk of time in 2020 and 2019 where I was drawing a lot of original characters. I was working on original character designs, mostly drawing nude original characters, which I guess was my crutch. Instead of going through the hands in pockets phase, I went through the draw naked people because clothes are hard phase, but that's also irrelevant. I did draw a lot of original characters for a minute, but when I was really thinking, I want to find myself as an artist more so, I leaned on fan art instead. Not having to design the character myself and being able to kind of have the crutch of it not being hyper realistic really helped me to think, what do I like in a stylistic approach when drawing? It allowed me to not think about the proportions as much. It wasn't, oh, it's not going to look like this person that I'm drawing because I didn't make the forehead big enough. It allowed me to be a little looser because the art itself, well, of a character that exists in the canon universe of itself, it is something that's more open to being played with. I'm not trying to emulate someone's likeness the way I would be if it was a portrait of somebody. And I found that that was a very effective way for me to figure out exactly what I like in my art, and also what I like stylistically, both to look at, but also to illustrate. Because there is that other additional process in finding your style of learning what you love to see and what you love to do. When it really comes down to it, I did lean on fan art for a while, just to kind of find my style. And now that I found it, I do still draw fan art. I do still draw a fair bit of fan art here and there, but it's much more balanced out by original illustrations. And so when I was thinking, oh, I'm fortunate that my Hunter x Hunter fans, because Crollo Lucifer was my go-to character, those people are still here because I still draw Crollo. And the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking, is this really a way to think about my audience? Oh, I'm so glad they stayed because they haven't lost interest in me yet. What if I stop doing Hunter x Hunter fan art? I don't know why I say Hunter x Hunter fan art. What if I stop doing Phantom Troop fan art and they're not interested in my art anymore? Will I lose a lot of the people who really like my work? Perhaps that answer is yes, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that that's not per se a bad thing to lose a part of your audience as you mature just because you're not in a fandom anymore. And equally so, I also want to be able to cater to the people who like my work and followed me for a particular thing. So I guess particularly what this video is more so me inquiring about and thinking through is, to what point does an artist who has a very fan-based, following-based desire for their career and future endeavors? I want people to... I'm very much more of a social media artist than a gallery artist in every sense of the... I'm not gallery focused at all with no intentions of doing gallery work, and so making people look at my art and getting my thoughts and opinions for my original work out there is very much fundamented on people liking my art and me and what I have to say. And so to an extent, I think there is room and a intelligence behind at least somewhat catering to the people who like your work, but like it for a particular reason or character. I guess I suppose what I'm trying to say is that I want to make everybody who follows me, in a sense, happy with my work and happy with the balance. And then where do I as an artist learn to find that balance, and how does one decide how much is too much and how much is too little? Because this isn't something you can just necessarily Google and find an answer that's right for you as an individual. Thusly, I was thinking perhaps maybe I incorporate it in my YouTube channel as well and have room for fan art and having fun, illustrating characters I already love and getting a chance to talk about them and what I love about their design, and learning how to make them expressive in the way that I want to see them. Pearl is a character I get to play with a lot because fanon very much dictates that they're likely not, because fanon allows for us to really, especially with Crollo, think that Crollo would probably dress up in most anything for a mission to be successful, and that there's a confidence in whatever Crollo chooses to wear. There is no shame and lack of dignity, that Crollo is completely comfortable in their gender identity, whatever that is. That's something that the fandom has very heavily inferred, and thus I feel very comfortable and explorative in different outfits and finding different attire and playing with the idea of missions and such that would permit certain attire. Crollo tends to be my go-to character for these sorts of things, and the playing around with gender expression, which I really enjoy doing. However, there are a lot of characters I very much enjoy for different reasons, and I have a lot of room to play with their character designs as well. Thus, I suppose I'm asking more so to my audience, to you listening, the viewer, the watcher, is there an interest in maybe one of my videos a month? Currently, I'm doing 4 a month. Being a fan art sketch with me kind of thing, or a character exploration where I, at the very least, play with the idea of a character's expression, or just do fan art for the sake of having that balance. 1 to 3, 25% of my YouTube content being me getting to enjoy fan art while also having it not be entirely my work based on copyrighted material. I guess that's a big chunk of what my kind of recent concern has been about. This kind of idea of these characters aren't mine, and so I can't really utilize them necessarily in every way that I would want to, be it for creating posters and prints and stuff like that, or be it for making like logos and stuff. I love fan art, and I love buying fan art. Most of my print wall is fan art, not original characters, and I love all of them. However, I have to rely on print-on-demand shops because I don't have the health or location-based allowance to be able to create my own products, or even the audience to necessarily have a reliable income to cover the cost of manufacturing and stuff at the moment. The unofficial fan art is almost always better than the original copyrighted licensed work and stuff, but I don't know how much I'm willing to play into the creation and the output of it and mess with my own legal safety on the matter and stuff, especially print on demand. But even on, if I get the chance to make a Shopify or an Etsy one of these days, I don't know where I stand on it. Going over my morals, and more so that would be something I would want to open a discussion with somebody who does produce almost exclusively fan art material, and if I'm given that opportunity, I would very much enjoy it, to just really talk about the line and the ethics of it, because I am kind of conflicted on it. I don't know how I feel, even as somebody who enjoys supporting these artists, how I feel about supporting something that could technically get them in trouble, which is probably a goody two-shoes kind of thought process on the matter, but also something that I figured I could put my 2 cents on since we're here. I want to create art that can bring people the type of joy that buying fan art brings me. I love having other artist work on my wall. It's great. I have way too many keychains on my car keys. The little things like that bring me so much joy. I love supporting small artists. There's kind of a lot of I enjoy it, and I want people to be able to have that type of joy with my art as well. I want to create an opportunity where if people really, really like a design I have, they can get stickers. I love stickers. I love stickers so much. They can have stickers or prints and stuff like that. I want my art to be able to join people in their homes the way I enjoy bringing other people's art into the home and litter their spaces however they desire. And I suppose that'll be shown more deliberately when I get the opportunity to decorate my next sketchbook and I get to pull out my massive sticker collection and really think, what do I want where and all of that. And that's something I will be doing for the channel, of course. But I want people to be able to have that opportunity with my art if it's something that they desire or want, but I also want to not get in trouble or risk myself by publishing fan art, and I have to think about it a lot. I am very open to discussion on the topic and really going over how do I feel about it, how do other people feel about it, other people's opinions, particularly people who are way more experienced in the topic than I am, is ideal. I'm very much new to the art world as somebody who produces content like this, as well as somebody who is very new to print on demand and the idea of being an artist for stable longevity reasons. I'm getting my degree in art, yes, but I'm also getting a degree in a science, and so there is prospects for me outside of art if things don't work out the way I want. And I also never went into college with the intentions of being an artist. This is just something I found my love for throughout, or I loved it before, but I more so found my confidence for it throughout the process of going to college and all of that. Thus, I don't necessarily know 100% how to be an artist the same way people who have been having this plan for a long time or have been working on this plan for a long time do, or people who went to college for it. It's more so something that I'm kind of maybe a bit of a late bloomer on, maybe not. I know some artists that I really look up to didn't start taking art seriously until their more mid-late 20s. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's a life experience. I don't know if it's a content experience related type of thing that will flesh out my thoughts, opinions, and morals on it more. But I do know that opening discussion and having discussion is fundamental to the idea of really learning, broadening one's ability to formulate an effective opinion on the matter. So I'm very much opening for discussion. So if you made it to the end of this, I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of my little fan art doodle down below, my topic of conversation, your thoughts and opinions on the questions and points that I brought up. If you feel so inclined to subscribe or watch my other content, they should be appearing on the screen sometime right around now. And like, comment, share if you so desire. I love to engage. I love to talk with people. And I hope that whatever you're doing, wherever you are, you have a great rest of your day or night. Goodbye.